Kevin here with myatvs.com. Right now what I want to talk to everybody about is carburetors. Carburetors are what send the fuel to the motor for your four-wheeler or your scooter to run. When you hit the throttle, that's the item on the machine that actually sends the fuel to the engine. One of the problems that you can run into with anything with a small engine and a carburetor on it, not just four-wheelers, but also lawnmowers, weed eaters, jet skis, tractors, all that kind of stuff, is right now the U.S. and about 90% of their states has changed to 10% ethanol. 10% ethanol is bad news for things with a carburetor on it. And it's not just Chinese four-wheelers, it's all the four-wheelers, it's anything with a small carburetor on it. Over time, the carburetors get gummed up, they get deposits on the inside of them from the ethanol, so you really need to put something in them to keep that ethanol out of there. We sell a product called Startron, which is right here. It doesn't matter what brand you get, but it's got to be something that knocks the ethanol out. If you buy anything from our website, please get a bottle of this also. Even if you don't buy a four-wheeler from us, you bought it somewhere else, you need to find a place to buy this stuff, you can get one from us. You just put a little tiny cap full, and this bottle will do 48 gallons of gas, so it'll do plenty of gas. But you just put a little tiny cap full in every tank. When you fill it up, drop a cap full in there, or put a couple of ounces in a 5-gallon bucket. It gives you instructions on the back of it. And put that in your unit. What that'll prevent from happening are things like these. I've got a couple of carburetors here. Now when you take a carburetor off, it's going to be a greenish yellowish film on the inside of them. This is not going to be greenish or yellowish because it's been dried. It's been sitting out in our shop for a while. But this is a carburetor. I just took the top of the bowl off. They have a little float in them. All that float does is just tells it how much fuel's in the carburetor. And it's a float just like it would be in the back of your commode when to shut it off or when to keep sending it. And then you have your two jets. You have the idle jet here, and that idle jet can get clogged up very easily, especially with that ethanol in the gas. If you can see, there's a little bit of corrosion or a little bit of mildew growing up on it right now. That's from the ethanol. And I took this one over here and I took the bowl out so you really can get the float out so you can get a good idea. This is what ethanol does to carburetors. Again, this is dried up, but this would normally be a yellowish green film on the inside of this. That gets all down in the bowl of the carburetor, which that's not the worst part. The worst part is when that stuff gets down into these jets. When it gets down into these jets, when you go to hit the throttle on anything you have, like I said, your tractor, lawnmower, jet ski, doesn't matter. When you hit the throttle, it's going to bog down. It's going to feel like it's starving for fuel. It can't get any fuel, or it's going to shut down completely when you hit that throttle. That's what your problem is. Your problem is a carburetor problem. And you can either continue to put your gas in there and don't put any additive in it, have someone clean it out every 6 months when it gets gummed up and pay them to do that, or just buy a bottle of Startron or a bottle of additive that knocks out the ethanol. It just saves you a whole lot of headaches. You won't have down riding time. And this is probably the number one thing that we have four-wheelers coming into our shop for to get repaired is carburetors. And it's not just ours. We fix Yamaha, we fix all the main brands, Yamaha, Honda, Suzuki, all of them. We do all the work here at our shop. We have more customers bring stuff in because this was just announced probably in the summer of 2010 where this is really becoming an issue. So we couldn't figure out what was making all these carburetors do that. It ended up it's the ethanol and the gas. So unless you're one of the very few states out in the Midwest that do not have ethanol in your gas, make sure you get a bottle of Startron with your purchase from us. Put it in there. If you have another item at home that's not running right, start putting this stuff in and it'll clean it up. And that's our tip for the carburetors. Thanks.